You.
What up, dude? Oh, not much, man. Totally
Looks
for
nice.
totally forgot what time zone we were doing this in. I told
Dude.
it. I for sure thought we said 11 Central Standard Time, but then I went back in the messages. I'm like, oh shit, we said Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
was I was like still drinking coffee. I'm on vacation at my wife's grandparents' ranch, so we're all chilling. I was just like, I gotta go. They were like, what? I was like, don't worry about it. I'll be back.
Dude, that's funny, man. Looks nice over there.
It is, man. This view is sick, man. Look at this.
That's beautiful.
Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
living the high life out here.
We got to deal with like 40, like high 40s and rainy all weekend.
Dude, it's been raining forever in Houston, man. I forgot how shitty the weather was.
Oh, it was bad, man. It was so bad.
It's been absolutely god awful.
Yeah, for sure.
Many things said we may start. He's here.
I did a podcast with him. I think it was last week. We did some. I think he's
Yep.
dropping it today, actually. It was a good time. Alex is a good dude.
Nice, man. Yeah, I just did his too. He's fun, man. He's a fun guy.
Yeah.
He's a super fun guy. So, all right, let's talk about you, man. So you have now what is this? You shot on the Super Squad this year for production, right?
No, I didn't. I didn't shoot on the Super Squad this year.
You
Um,
will next year though.
well, I took 18th, so it's a possibility, but it's not. It's not a definite thing.
Okay, I thought you were on the Super Squad this year. Did you opt out of it or?
No, I took 22nd last year.
Oh, okay.
It would be
Yeah.
nice. That's my
Yeah.
goal. That's my goal for next nationals, regardless of whether I'm in the Super Squad by some chance or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for next nationals to be in the Super Squad.
I just assumed because every time I look up your scores, you're somewhere in the top.
Well, that's a good thing.
And yeah, and everyone I talked to, like I talked to a bunch of guys before production nationals, and you were you were a lot of people's dark horse pick.
Oh
Like
yeah,
a lot of people were like, yeah, man, Rob's coming up. And
I am.
I was like, damn, Rob is a beast. And then I started looking at your videos and I was like, okay, this guy definitely has got a shot, you know?
Yeah, I mean, the goal by next nationals is to be over 90%. For me.
That's a
Um,
solid goal, man.
this year because of the short time between factory gun and low cap nationals, I was looking for top 20.
Yeah.
So I got that. And if I pull up another 5%, which I think I'll get within the next 6 months to a year, I'll be looking for top 10. That's kind of the goal
Yeah.
for next nationals, whenever it is, May, October, whatever. I want to be 90% plus.
That's
So
a solid goal, man, because one thing you can always count on in production is it is going to be stacked.
yeah, and that's
Absolutely
and that's the
stacked.
point. Man. I mean, the point of staying in production until I accomplish what it is I want to accomplish is because if I can do it there, I'll be able to do it anywhere. And there are tons of great shooters in production that have come up in production and then they've branched off into other divisions and they always do well in other divisions too.
Yeah.
You can see.
Yeah. Production is one that I haven't played a whole lot in production.
Yeah,
I'd never played in low cap period until limited 10, and I
it's
kind of
different.
half-heartedly did that one, and it had its challenges just like anything else. I'll say it was really fun. It was really fun. I thought it was going to be kind of coming from open. I thought it
Yeah,
was going to be, but the competition and the people that I was shooting with,
yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Well, look, I thought. I mean, for me, the stages seemed balanced out. They didn't seem like there weren't too many gimmicks. There weren't too many, dumb things. There was a decent balance of field courses and medium courses, and some of the shorter stuff. Like, I mean, I liked the way it was set up personally. I enjoyed those stages for the most part.
Yeah, I
So
did too. The box to box stuff, I kind of I hate box to
yeah, I
box stuff.
mean,
I feel like you can for a nationals style match. I feel like box to box is just so. I don't know, man. It's there's so many better ways to set up a stage.
yeah, I mean, what did they have? Two of them? Was it two of them they had?
I
Box
think
to
they had
box
more than
with
that.
the activator. one with the activator, one with the dropout.
And then the one with the table with the
Well,
magnets on it.
yeah, the two table the two moving targets, right? I think they were.
Uh, they had the one in the they had the spot in the middle with magnets for your mags.
Yep,
That's what I'm
yep,
talking
yep.
about.
Wanted to use it, yeah. I didn't use the magnets.
Dude, I saw a few people use the magnets. I was like, what are you doing?
Dude, and there were some people that literally like they grabbed the mag, right, and they literally like they grabbed the mag off their belt and they literally went to go touch it on the table and then reload. They said that was perfectly allowed. I didn't do it that way, but I think it just caused like problems because people would try to reload and then they'd be like, "Oh shit, we got."
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah,
So they kept it on their belt
I
and
kept it on
then
the belt,
took it
took
out,
it, took
tapped
it
it on the
out,
table,
touched the
loaded.
table, loaded.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
didn't do
see
it
the I don't see
that
the
way.
benefit.
It was to be able to reload from your belt, but
But but
what
why?
happened is most people went to load the gun and they're like, "Oh shit, I gotta remember to touch the table," and then you
Yeah,
have to.
that's just it's
It,
just one
it,
more thing. When people try to get too gimmicky like that, like when I see someone doing something like that, I just call them an idiot. Like
yeah,
respectfully, I'm like, respectfully, you're an idiot.
it doesn't work well. Like I call it the super secret squirrel plan. Like like
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
yeah, I got the master plan, and typically it just doesn't end up working out well.
Yeah, when you try to rely on those gimmicks instead of your shooting, it rarely goes well.
Yeah,
I've
no,
noticed
I'd
that a
agree,
lot.
I'd agree with that totally.
It's funny because the guys who normally just stay straightforward and do just the bare minimum to be efficient
Hmm.
is usually the guys who are somewhere in that top 20, top 30.
Yeah, and it's simple. It's simple to remember. It leverages on your skill set. You know, so if someone is not strong in movement, they probably shouldn't be trying to take everything on the move and should probably just try to simplify
Yeah,
that
for sure.
approach. Like for me personally, like I'm very inflexible. So getting into like low ports and Cooper tunnels, um, for me is always difficult. So I just have to. I can try to work on it outside of the match, but it's not in the match. If there's a Cooper tunnel, there's a really low port. Like I just gotta suck it up. Like
You
I'm
gotta,
not necessarily going to be able to do very well in that stage. I just have to do the best I can and accept that. In that regard.
gotta do your yoga, bro.
Yeah, yeah. I tried. I did
Try to
yoga
get
for a bit,
try
and
to
it
get
is just
flexible.
I'm naturally inflexible to begin with, and then from my motorcycle accident that I had, many years back, like I broke my pelvis and a
Ooh,
whole bunch of other shit. Like most people are starting to know now, but most people don't know that I can't lift my right foot. Like I wear a brace to hold my foot up.
you can't. Well, hold on. You can't lift your right foot. Like,
I can't lift this right foot. Look at this. Woo! You see
holy
that?
shit!
Right? Yeah. So that goes into it, it's actually interesting. I'll show it to you since so
Holy
this
front door.
this is what I wear in a match. So this goes into the sole of my shoe, right? And it's like it's flexible. So I can push down, and when I push down, it pushes down, and then it returns my foot back up to normal.
Hold the
So
phone.
yeah, yeah. I
What?
have a foot and a half that works.
How are we? Okay, so let's just point out that what'd you get this year at Nationals?
18.
18th. So, for the 17 people in front of you,
Uh-huh.
just know that the only reason is because you were shooting against a guy with one foot. Let's be wrong, with one working foot.
Well, one and a
So,
half. I can still push down. Like,
all right,
that
one and a
counts.
half. So he's got 1.5 feet, and y'all almost got your ass kicked by him. And everybody behind him, like, just strap it in,
Yeah.
because the guy with 1.5 feet just torched you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was what got me into shooting actually, was my motorcycle accident.
So you
2000.
used to be real into bikes, and then the motorcycle accident got you out of it.
Well, I mean, I broke my pelvis, I dislocated my knee, you know, two of my muscles were basically ripped in half. And
Oof.
that's why I have drop foot. So the nerve that goes down to lift your foot up, like it stretched so far that it basically broke the connection to the foot. So so I couldn't lift my foot. I played volleyball and basketball before that. Like I played basketball in high school and into college and practiced 40 hours a week, like, real hardcore stuff. And um, I didn't always want to practice that much, but my dad would typically roll me out of bed at times, literally like roll me out of bed and like, hey, listen, get up, you got to practice.
Yeah.
Um, but played volleyball like when I started working full time and doing all that stuff. It was the same thing. We'd practice like 10, 15 hours a week outside of playing games and stuff and outside of our full time jobs and um, coming up there pretty strongly. And then the motorcycle accident happened and so playing sports that involved a lot of heavy cutting, which those sports were, was
Yeah.
not going to be. I wasn't going to be able to get as competitive as a competitive advantage anymore. It
Yeah.
would be would have been a problem. So shooting became the next thing. Like shortly after that,
Yeah.
um, we started in the defensive world, and then spring of 2018, I got serious about competing. You know.
Well, I'll say, man, unless you told me, which was right now, I had no idea you had a bum foot.
Most people don't. And I don't. I really don't like. I don't like to talk about it because to me, I don't look at it as a crutch. But sometimes I kind of have to accept the fact that it does matter a little bit. It just means I have to work harder at certain things. So,
Well, you're a competitor, right? And when I
yeah.
say that, everyone thinks they're a competitor, but they don't have that competitive mindset. You're a competitor. You have that competitive mindset where to you, if everyone can always blame something on that, right? Like, oh, Rob didn't beat whoever because of his foot. No, 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 no. Right? In your mind, you're like, I should kick that guy's ass 10
Mhm.
times out of 10, no matter what my feet are doing, right?
That's pretty much how I view it. Like my thoughts are always, hey, listen, if I lose or if I don't win, like it's an opportunity to learn and grow and use that as motivation to train harder.
Yeah, hell
And
yeah.
if I do win, it's opportunity and motivation to, hey, listen, be happy for that moment, right? And this is important in anything. Like you need to be happy in the moment with your progress and with your successes, right? So you take that little time, whatever that time you determine is, right, to be happy about that, and then you get to work the next day making it better and building that gap. You know,
Yep.
that's the idea.
Yeah.
No day is going to be perfect, and I still have a lot of growing to do, which thankfully that means that there's a lot of opportunity to accomplish what I'm trying to accomplish. So, and I'm not intending on quitting it anytime soon. So,
I like the way you said that. I like the way you said that. You said there's a lot of growing to do, but I like that because it gives me an opportunity to work. Right? Is basically the gist of that.
well, it means that the goal is possible.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a pipe dream that I'm pretending to be this thing that I'm never going to be. Like,
Yep.
what's up, Anton? Anton and I shot together yesterday. Anton's a great dude.
Yeah.
Um,
What up, Anton? What up, Mike? Mike was in here a second ago. He said, "Hey, handsome," and then "Hey, Trevor." So I'm assuming handsome was you.
maybe I did just trim my beard.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
that. But yeah, no, it's not it definitely is possible. I've heard it from quite a few people, thankfully, like coaches and other people that I've talked to. And all that support, gives a lot of belief into yourself too, which is super, super important. But yeah, take the time to be happy with what you've done and then get to work the next day because that's really the way that you continue to grow. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Yep.
So
I'm a which I'm assuming everyone is this way that is doing what we do at the level that we do it, right? I'm kind of a self a self-inflicted asshole to where I will choose the hardest route
okay.
in order to, and this is when I'm training, right? I'll choose the hardest thing just to like punish myself into being better. Does that
Okay.
make sense? Like if
Yeah.
I hate doing something, I'm gonna do it, right? Just to get to the point where now that's easy.
That was
And
uh, that was four aces. Yeah, four aces for me.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, Jesus Christ.
I hated
Yeah,
that.
that
Hate.
drill is frustrating. For those who don't know, look up the four aces drill and just go spend a couple, 10, 20 minutes at the range hating yourself because
Until you get good
it'll
at
get
it.
frustrated. Yeah, until you get good at it. I mean, then it becomes like I'm sure now four aces you can just crank out whenever you want.
Yeah. So there's a difference between hey, a comfortable table I can do, 9 times out of 10, and hey, listen, I'm going for balls out. Like, a comfortable run. Like I do four aces probably once a week at live at the range just because I now enjoy it. It's like a maintenance thing. So it's like,
Yep.
hey, let me do 2 to 3 runs just to see what I do, see how I feel. And usually they're between like 210 comfortable, shooting high points, making all alphas, but you can probably here and there. But I can do that. Like I can literally walk up, set the timer, do a quick visualization. This is what I can do day in day out.
Yep.
I'm pushing it and I'm trying to push it. My faster time is 180. So like that's but you're talking now the draw and the reload are in the point sevens,
Yeah,
which
that's fast.
it's and it's not reliable. It's not going to
Yeah.
be 100%
Yeah.
reliable. I can nail it here. I can nail it, a decent amount, but the amount of tension that it creates, in a match that just wouldn't be reasonable.
Well,
Yeah.
for people who aren't aware, when he says a point seven draw and a point seven reload, that's from rest, taking the gun out of the holster and firing the shot in the A zone in point seven of a second on the beep. Same with a reload, right? From shot, reload to shot is point seven. So
Yep.
when you think about point seven of a second, you're going from the gun firing, you're doing your reload, and then you're firing the gun again in point seven of a second. If you don't, it's going to be hard for you to grasp how fast that is. But point seven reload is spicy. Like most of us,
Good enough bag.
most of us are reliably a one to a 1-2 reload, right? That's kind
That's
of
a
this.
reasonable number.
That's a really reasonable, really fast number for a reload. Um, but it's a little crazy once you start talking about point seven. That's a little spicy.
Rich is saying the wind on your side is canceling out some of what I'm saying.
I don't think the wind would be canceling it, would it? Fuck this
I
wind.
don't know. I don't know. Just pointing it out.
Yeah,
Hey Jen, hey Malin.
I'll tell the wind to chill out.
It's nice out there, man. I'm jealous of that.
It is, man. It's not too hot. It's right now.
Yeah.
Um, so what? I we had a couple questions, right? One of them being your dry fire routine. Do you have a set dry fire routine, or do you switch it up day by day by day?
In terms of what? You mean in terms of what I do? Is that
Yeah,
what they're kind of getting at?
yeah. Like, what do you
Um,
do for dry fire? Do you have a regular routine you stick with, or are you constantly evolving your process?
so my dry fire typically is focused on like sequence work. Like I don't have a big area right now, so I put up a bunch of targets and I basically say, okay, I'm going to do this target, reload. Go to the here, run to here, do whatever. Basically create a stage or a sequence in my mind. Walk it through, visualize it, like as in like I'm making ready. Like I like to use like physical like sensations for me in my make ready. So like
Yeah,
I'll actually look to the target I'm going to shoot and look to the target I'm going to shoot and look to the target I'm going to shoot and actually bring my arms over there as if I'm transitioning the gun.
yeah,
And I'm actually also working my finger. So I'm like I have my thumb and this is how I grip. So I'm gripping hard like I normally would here, right? I like to focus a little bit of pressure on the bottom two my, my sparring here, right? And then I have my thumb, my side. You could actually see here. I actually put it up here for you guys. There's a little green like dot up there. You see that? Right? That is my fiber, right? And now my finger works on the thumb here. And I'm actually doing that through the make ready process.
That's kind of dope. So you put a little dot there for your fiber. That's pretty dope.
Sometimes those people who are green, right? Sharpie makes a metallic green, and then I have one of the other ones. So I haven't tried this out really much, but they also make like a ruby red for red dots, and it has a little shimmer to it, so it's like it shines a little bit more in the sun.
Yeah,
It's a little darker when it's a little dark, so you kind of get the effect of what your fiber would actually do.
that's pretty dope.
I
That's
checked,
pretty dope.
I checked out the rules too to make sure it's not like anything that I'm doing that's illegal. So USPSA rules say gun or gun replica. It's neither. So
That's
uh,
true.
I walked around with nationals with that. Like that's what I walk around with. And
I heard,
now basically I'm practicing. I'm basically practicing the stage as close as I can to um, what I would actually do. So my grip feels very similar to what it would feel like in live fire. The key point of this is putting it where your sight would approximately be. So if it's too high,
yeah,
that's going to cause a problem. If it's too low, it's going to cause a problem.
yeah.
Um,
It's got
so
to be
now,
pretty close to what you're used to.
yeah. So now you're looking at targets. I'm moving over there and I'm programming the response that I want to do. Whether I'm reacting off of a stable fiber or a stable sight picture, whether I'm reacting off of the green color, which is what I'm trying to do for most targets. Or if I'm barely just seeing anything at all, which is like, 3 yard targets. Like there's really, you just look and when you feel your body online, you just smash the target.
Yeah, yeah. The good old grip and rippers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm good at that too. So, I mean, the,
Dude, I wish that I could do the whole 10 split thing, you know?
yeah, I mean, you
It's
don't
just not
have,
my You don't have to, but it does sound cool doing it
it
at
sounds awesome.
3 yards when you're just pop 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 pop. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it sounds so cool, and every time I shoot, because I shoot open, so a lot of the guys I shoot with are in open, and every time I see one of those guys do it, I just get so jealous. I get so jealous. I almost wish that I could make my gun hammer follow on command,
Yeah, yeah.
just to
Well,
be able
dude,
to do it.
my buddy Jeff. So if you guys are watching, my name is Jeff Wick. Is his handle.
My
Uh,
name is Jeff Wick. That's a pretty
yeah,
dope
yeah.
handle.
Dude, he runs like 10 to 12 splits with a Glock 34 and carry out. I shit you not, man. I shit you not. Well, look, I'm telling you, people here look him up because
Yeah,
his
we got
split
to look at
are,
that.
and it
I
is it is hilarious.
with a Glock 34, 10 splits with a 34 is hard,
It's it's
hard.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's really funny. But
I,
the thing I've learned is I used to shoot like 13, 14 splits like with an M&P like you know as I started getting into competition.
Rub
The
it in.
things I
It's okay.
learned,
Just rub it in.
yeah, yeah, M&P's so bad, but the thing that I learned also is that when you start splitting too fast, right? At that point, now you're pushing the gun so hard to return it that you lose the ability to transition the gun.
Yep.
So there's a certain minimum that you need to be. I would assume in open it's probably 16s or 15s.
I
You
can
know,
shoot 16s and 15s just on demand. That's not hard.
as
But
long as
I
you're
can but I can do it while maintaining the ability to transition fast.
right, and that's the thing. That's what I'm saying about that level is where you're still able to let go of the gun, release the gun, so you can transition properly.
Yeah, cuz
For production, it's around probably 16 to 18 is where that starts to get like blended to the point where you're really like slamming on the gun. And then
yeah.
you'll get that transition where the gun comes back down because you pushed it so hard, and now you got to move. You know,
Yeah.
that's a big deal. You know, and of
Yeah,
course
cuz
the gun
you just made up point 0.3 or point oh 0.03, but you just cost yourself,
point one.
point 0.1 on the transition, point 0.2 on the transition. It makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. And you want the super cool, sexy splits, but I would rather have a faster transition. And a
Although
minimum acceptable split.
although now that I know, like now that I'm very aware of the cost of everything, right? Somebody who can shoot 16 splits with an 18 transition and they do it just That gets me nice and moist. Whenever I see someone go through an array, and it's just pop, 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 and
Yeah.
it's just all the way through. It's pretty awesome.
It's so much better too, you know.
Yeah, yeah, it's
You
pretty cool.
rip that pair, and then they fucking pull over, and it's 25 or 30 transition, you know, because they're you're almost like not ready because you're almost like following through, you
Yeah,
know. It's hard to release that gun, you know. It takes a
yeah.
lot of effort to be able to do.
Sorry, my dog's not listening to my wife. My dogs only listen to me. It's hilarious. I hope our
Oh,
kids aren't that way.
man. So getting back to the dry fire routine. So like I do that complex sequence, right? And I'll do it, you know, I'll do a walkthrough, a visualization, and execution, right? Try to
Yeah,
put everything together properly.
yeah,
And what I'll do is if I see issues, like issue areas, like, hey, I've done this whole thing and I see an issue here, right? I might separate and just do that one section,
yeah,
you know, and work on that section as an isolation or individual skill set for part to bring that back up. If I do the walkthrough, the visualization, and the execution all in sync, meaning they're done exactly how I want them to be done, then I move on to a new sequence entirely. You know, and I'll do that the whole session. I do some like standardized things that I want to do. So like I have a focus. So focus might be, you know, in this case it's visual precision. So having my eyes really connect to the right spots on target, reacting to the green fiber, right,
yep,
where it is that I'm looking, um, being able to move into position, starting to shoot sooner. You know, so like being resourceful with your dry fire area is important. So like I have a door that goes out into a hallway, and I have about 8 yards or something like that. And that door now presents a vision barrier with which I could use to practice. Okay, hey, I'm basically tracking the A zone of the target through the wall so that I could fire right away.
yeah,
You know, getting that opportunity. So those things are focusing, shooting into position, like off of a short movement. Like all those things are things that I'm paying attention to, and I set up sequences according to those areas. So like this week, this week it was about hip rotation and the reloads too. So shooting a target over there and then having a lot of movement in your hips and your body, and being able to shoot a target basically almost 120, 180 across
yeah,
after the because that introduces a lot of potential room for error when you have your hips moving so much on a reload.
yeah.
Uh,
It really does.
and standard wise, like I've created my own kind of standard exercise. Um, so what I do is I have an array, and it's actually this array here. So this is like a little El Pres set up here. There's the Velcro that's falling off, right? So I have this set up here, and then I put a target out. Um, like one is in the hallway, so like at maybe a 45 or 60-degree angle, something like that. And then I have one to the right that's like a 90 wide transition with a half scale target. Um, I'll do basically a Blake drill and then a wide transition or a distance transition, and then do a reload and do it the opposite way.
Yeah,
So I'll spend a couple minutes on that because what that does for me, I'm basically programming like maximum vision and maximum trigger speed. So I'm not allowed to slow down anything per se, except for the wide transition that just takes more time. Um, but once I see green on the target, it's maximum trigger speed. Like I'm trying to react quickly and as aggressively as possible. And then I had the reload in there, and the part time I'm using around 4.2 for all that. So that's like just a standard exercise because it really gets my vision fast, my trigger work, my finger working correctly. The reload has to be there every time, and it
yeah,
gives you a lot of opportunity for not only close transitions, like real close narrow transitions, but a wider transition also. You have to be
yeah,
able to take that softness of driving the eyes from target to target in the close one to give it a little bit of a kick with your body to get moving. Only have it settle in precisely.
yeah,
I don't know. Does that make sense?
yeah. It makes perfect sense.
I have video of that I can show people if people are interested in that. They can
I
do that.
I do a lot of wide transitions and dry fire mixed in with close transitions, and then a lot of distance change.
Yep.
Um, as well as I hardly ever practice reloading standing still anymore
Hmm.
because we just don't do it that often. Um, Not in open anyway. I'm in open. We hardly do it.
You might do it once, and you have the magwell that gives you the opportunity to really,
Yeah,
heat up some of that room for error. You
yeah,
know.
yeah. That and I'm very aggressive with my reloads and my movement, right? So um, I find it's 900 times easier for me to reload moving than it is for me to reload standing still for some reason because I've just practiced it so much.
And I think a lot of the priority is off the reload movement.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So like standing still, the reload is the priority. So you have to
yeah,
nail that reload, right?
yeah,
If if it is off, you're fucked. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Which is
So with the movement, right? Plus you have to represent the gun right away.
yep,
So there's that part. There's a lot of potential issues.
yeah,
And what I see people do the most is see people try to throw the mag in the gun. You
yeah,
know, that's the thing that tends to be the biggest issue. Like people try to do the reload fast, but they actually don't do it properly.
yep,
Like they're just trying to get the mag in there, like literally smash it in, and what happens is they miss and they release control of the mag too early, and the mag goes like all over the place.
yep. Guilty. Done it before.
I, I,
Now,
I used to
yeah,
do it. Yeah, I
yeah.
used to do it.
Now if I'm reloading standing still, my main priority is to hit that 100%. And now I've got it figured out that if I drive aggressive from release of the gun all the way to the mag to about right here, right?
Mhm.
And then just take that extra time to just
Yeah.
find it and seed it, right?
Mhm.
Now that's 90-10 is I guess what a lot of people JJ calls it that, but um it looks super fast, but in my head it's like super slow because it's like from here to here I'm like, and we're good, okay, and go, right?
Well, and what
But
happens is also with that, right? So now your regrip and representation is quicker. It's cleaner,
yeah,
right? When you really send it hard into the gun, right? The gun actually gets bumped. And when the gun gets bumped, now you have to take that extra time to regrip, and the time ends up being almost the same.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I
But
have a whole. Yeah.
I used to try so hard to get the just clack clack that
Yeah.
that sound of just as
Uh,
little
Sound of JJ reloading. I remember that.
exactly
That's what got me
exactly
sparked.
clack 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 clack. It sounds like someone dropping the hammer twice. Clack clack. It's
Yeah.
quick, it's fast, it looks smooth, it's hilarious. But it
Yeah.
just but JJ also I had this conversation with him. I said, dude, your reloads are just absolutely just retarded. How does that, what do you attribute that to? And he goes, I've attributed that to probably 15 million reloads. And I was
Yeah.
like, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Yeah.
He has probably reloaded the gun 15 million times.
Mhm.
If you really think about how much he dry fires and how long he's been doing this, I mean, he's been doing this his whole life.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, totally. And there comes a point where it just becomes very, very, almost very automatic. Like,
Yeah. It's
I,
like
I've determined this, and that's what I'm going to do. Like, that's how it goes.
it's like driving a car. Like,
Mhm. For me, like, I have a whole process that with which I get, I talk with people about. With reloads, the first thing is understand the position, the best position to reload in, right? For you, it's different for everybody.
yep.
Typically speaking, a higher reload is faster. Um, a I don't call it low because it's not really low, like a more natural reload position. Like for me, my bicep basically touches my rib. Like
Yeah.
that's for me. Like natural, ergonomic, whatever you want to call it. It's not low. The reload is just about chest height. Um, that seems to be more consistent. So for a person with a magwell, if you'd like to, you can keep the reload out further. You know, I find that uncomfortable for me. Like, and I don't have a magwell, so I don't do it that way. But that doesn't mean that it's not a viable option. You know.
Yeah.
But once you get that, so once you figure that out, and I have a whole on my YouTube, I have a whole breakdown video of how to figure out like how to break down your reload entirely into like fucking 5 parts. That was like a year ago I made that one.
I
But
seen it. I seen it. It's pretty good.
It's good. It's just really micro, like really taking things down to micro levels, like, and being able to address it.
Which
After
is
that,
good.
once you figure that spot out, then it's how, like, it's getting the mag up to that spot, right? And once I use the par time like point 0.5, but point 0.6 is reasonable. Like, you don't have to go any more than point 0.6 because it's a lot of extra effort where you can spend that time elsewhere, probably gaining more. I was just crazy, so I went after it. Um, point 0.6, like, have the gun up on target, grab the mag, bring it up to where your index finger's touching the bottom of the grip or the bottom of the mag wall in your case, right? That's building the requisite speed, right?
Yeah.
And once you have the requisite speed, right, like you said, you rush down to the mag, bring it up to the gun fast, and then you pause. Like, a pause is only a confirmation pause. It's not about actually stopping the mag there and looking at it. Is the mag going in? Yes. If the mag's going in, insert it. No need to wait, right? If the mag's not going in, put it to where it needs to go in, and put the mag in the gun. You
Yeah.
know, it's that simple.
Yeah.
Um, and then everything after that's done off the trigger. So like, if you're gonna practice reloads, like, instead of using the beep, because we never reload off the beep, start aimed on target, press the trigger, and then respond to that trigger.
Yeah.
Be able to do everything else quickly. That'll speed you up without you even needing to do anything.
Quite a bit too.
Yeah.
Quite a
People don't
bit.
realize how much they actually. That was with Amy 556. She had sent me a video of her doing 4 aces. I think it was last year, and I was looking at it. I was like, she's the gun is going up, coming down, going up, coming down, and then she's starting to reload. I'm like, I said, well, you gotta respond to the trigger quicker. Like, once the gun goes off, like, the bullet's already left the barrel, like, start the reload. And that's where
Yeah.
I came up with that actual thing. Like, that day, I was like, oh, all right, I'll do this, and then I started practicing it myself, and you found your reload consistency went up, and your speed was still there. Like, even if I bobbled a little bit, it was still a 105 or a 110.
Yeah.
It,
Still quick.
still, yeah, still quick enough. And once you understand that, hey, it's going to be quick enough, even if there's a little bit of a problem, those problems typically start to go away.
Yeah. I
You know?
find that, sorry, I'm got yellow jackets flying all over me. The
I hate
last
them.
thing I want to do is get stung by one of those things. So I'm allergic to bees, but I'm not allergic to yellow jackets. So should be
No,
good.
I'm just a pussy around bees.
I
That's the
am
one.
too, man. I'm not a huge fan of getting stung. I just don't want to
Yeah.
happen.
Yep.
I just don't want to happen. Maybe they're hired to take me out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Maybe. Wow.
um, yeah. But I find that the more time I spend pushing and dry fire to just find a new gear, that now stuff that and I record. By record, I mean I write down a lot of, like, when I find something in my dry fire that's new and that's a breakthrough, then I write it down, right? And then I find myself, the more I push, those old breakthroughs, when I go back and look at them now, I'm like, oh fuck, that was so slow. That
Yeah.
was so slow, so sloppy. Now it just, you're constantly, the more you affirm the speed, the better things get and the smoother they get. Like,
Yeah.
this new gear that I was able to hit, 5 out of 5, those 5 weren't perfect. They were a little sloppy. Now, a month from then, that 5 is crisp and clean and now feels slow.
Yeah.
And I don't think people spend enough time trying to find that new gear as they should. I think they spend a lot of time perfecting everything,
Yeah.
which is good. I spend probably 80% of the time just working on perfecting little movements and minute movements and trying to figure out what exit and entry positions better, how I should be moving my feet, how I should be opening my hips, which way I should come in on which foot. But finding that next level of just greasy fast speed, I think that's kind of an underutilized thing for a lot of people.
And I think so building a skill or addressing your technique and stuff like that, like, you can sort that out in a deliberate way to some degree. Like for me, I've added a separate movement, you know, session for me. I actually, before I leave work, like I go outside in the back of the building. I have like my little target stands. I put target stands up. I put a belt on with no gun, and I just bring the little thumb dot out and I practice movement. Because it's an opportunity for me to game without needing the gun. Right.
I'm gonna put a red dot on a little stick.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, man.
It'd be
Fuck
kind of
with it.
good.
You'll see. You'll see. As long as it's at the right height for your dot.
That would be the hard part.
And you address it like JJ puts his thumb up. That's how he does. He doesn't put any dot on, but his thumb was up. I put my thumb up like before I came up with this thing. At a nationals, I shot low on every target for the first day. Alpha Charlie at the bottom of the alpha. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, oh, I'm aiming because of this. I'm aiming too high, so I had to adjust that. But I also had to visualize aiming at the top third of the target.
Yeah.
That was last year's nationals in October. But that's something you got to pay attention to. But so yeah, no, so that's where I'm like, the movement training is relatively new for me. So it's okay. This is what I'm focusing on. Focusing on how my foot pivots to drive my hips out. Right? Nerf gun.
Nerf gun with a dot. Yeah, buddy. Would that count?
Well, that's
I mean,
technically
technically.
That's replica.
Yeah, I guess. Boo. And
Threw it
IDPA,
on
you can't
ice.
even do this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't even present an IDPA.
Yeah, I never shot that stuff.
Nobody really does. It's fine.
Not interested, to be quite honest. No offense. But yeah. So that's like I could focus deliberately on things like pushing out on my hips or how I'm decelerating or
Yeah.
how stable I'm getting myself to. All these different things. But once the foundation is established, now you got to push to find errors. You got to try to break the system, so to speak. So that's where people get afraid to push speed. You hear, slow down and get your hits, which most of us never say. And it makes me like twitch.
Makes my blood boil.
No, I can't. Anybody, anytime someone says that in a class,
Yeah.
line, oh, don't say that, please.
Slow and smooth. Whack.
Oh,
Makes you want to punch people in the throat.
Kills me a little inside when that happens. But when you push speed and you find the errors, right? They're going. You got to keep pushing for the next issue, because the next issue is the obstacle to your development. Like that. That is what's stopping you from improving.
Yeah.
And you have to correct it at that speed by adjusting a variable at a time to see if it's better, worse, or the same.
Yeah.
And by doing that, that's how you get better. I've never really slowed down, like for my reloads, for instance. I've never slowed them down. Like if I was having an issue, it was like, okay, let me try to see, let me be looking to see the issue. And if I see the issue, like at that point I could say, okay, move my arm in a little bit, or the angle.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
This dude's fucking mowing the lawn.
Yeah, I don't really hear it.
Yeah.
You might.
Probably good. Anyway, what were you saying?
No, so that's the thing. It was just see it at that speed. Try to really see it. So like, for instance, in nationals, right? There was that stage where we did 2-2 on the outsides. Reload did middles and heads.
Yeah.
Right. And that's on my feed. The speed that I did that reload at, right? I actually saw the witness holes of the mag going in, like the 5 to 10, as if it were as if I were holding it in my hand, looking at it like this, right before it went in the gun. And you guys, if you guys get a chance, watch that on the Boomer's got them all. Watch that video and understand, like, if you got to be looking for it, you got to be able to see it. So by trying to see it in practice all the time, I'm able to see, okay, the gun's a little off here, or, I was a little low grabbing the mag, or, by slowing down, it doesn't do anything other than mask the problem. I had a problem with that with draws, like when I was doing concealment, trying to get under a second. I would be able to get under a second, but I pull shots to the left, right?
Yeah.
So at 1.5 seconds, it was fine. And what I learned was because at 1.5 seconds, I have a lot of time to meet the gun, really apply pressure, and present. It was fine. At 1 second, this hand was lagging behind. So this hand's trying to send the gun out, this hand's lagging behind, and then when they come together, it pulls
Yeah, as you're firing.
as I'm firing. So
Yeah.
so if I would have slowed down, I would have never figured that out, right? So instead I told myself clamp early at that speed, right?
Yep.
Clamp on the gun and start applying pressure as early as possible, and that solved the issue, right? And that's the way that I was able to maintain a sub 1 second draw from concealment without throwing shots all over the place.
That's quick. That's spicy. Sub 1 second from concealment is spicy.
Yeah, I think my fastest at the time was like .8 or something like that. You
Yeah,
know,
that's one thing I haven't spent a whole lot of time on, and it's probably not smart, but I haven't spent I mean, I've spent time on it, but a concealed draw, I probably, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes a month, maybe at the most.
a lot.
Yeah,
You don't need that.
just enough to feel confident that I'm not going to either one, shoot my dick off, or two, snag my shirt, or three, get caught slipping, you know?
Well, I used to practice with the most long, annoying shirt I could find. Like
Like a
way back in my feed when I first started competing, I have some
wearing one of
concealed.
your wife's moo-moos.
Yeah, fucking. I actually have the shirt here. It's a 2XL, Under Armour shirt. When I used to be heavier, I lost like 50 pounds or something like that in 2017. But
Hell yeah.
so I wore that shirt and it's like swimming on me and like hangs down super low. So you literally that is the worst possible scenario. So once I get to the range and I'm wearing a normal shirt, like now drawing from concealment easy, because that's the hardest part that would hang people up.
Meme incoming, Rob in a bathrobe. Yes.
I don't think I wear bathrobes. No, I've never worn a bathrobe. So
Okay, well, I'm gonna catch you slipping one of these days.
one day, one
One
day.
day. One day you'll be in a bathrobe. Send it
Yeah.
right over to Kimmy and
Well,
Malin.
I'll send it to Malin.
Yeah, send a picture of you in a bathrobe with your belt on, but you got to move your holster to the front, appendix style,
Yeah, right.
because that's legal now.
It is legal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's I wouldn't change it now, but it is legal.
yeah.
For
It's
what
legal.
I mean, originally my intention was to do concealed carry, a competition like Gabe White did. Um,
Everyone starts out in my. I mean, not all right, not everyone, but a lot of people who start out trying this sport to get better at carrying their firearm always starts off with the idea of they want to keep it tactical, But
until they
then you
realize it's not an
but
advantage.
but then you want to play the game, and you
Yeah,
realize that playing the game doesn't hinder your ability to be tactical.
no,
It just makes you better. So then you
right.
get to playing the game, and then that's why this is a game.
Yep.
And the idea of moving everything into just at this point, just make it run what you brung.
Yeah.
Just give like, okay, open is obviously compensators and dots, limited is like magwells and whatever, and production's the same, but 15 rounds because 10 rounds is absolutely fucking retarded.
Yeah, I would like 15 round production on.
It would make
Yeah.
it more competitive, that's for sure. I don't want to say more competitive. All right, that it'd make it a whole lot easier to get your ass kicked by a guy with a production gun if you're in a different division. Let me put it that way.
Flashlight game. Yeah.
Yeah, but then just run what you brung as long as it's within those parameters, right? Just
I don't particularly get upset about changing the rules like that. Like
I don't either.
it hasn't really bothered me. I mean, I didn't put brass all over my gun. Like I didn't put a flashlight on my gun. I know Anton did. They actually at the match over the weekend they checked his flashlight to make sure it worked.
Did anybody in the super? Did anybody in the super squad or the top 20 have a flashlight on their production gun? I don't recall seeing one.
I want to say Phil put a flashlight on his gun, but
Straighter,
yeah, I wasn't paying attention to it. But
but
I think he was doing more as a joker
I
than
think
anything.
Phil was doing it more just to be Phil.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
know,
It
Yeah.
wasn't anything other than that. Like, if
Yeah.
any, I don't
The-
think it's necessary. Like, especially for the steel guns. You know, if you want to try it out and see what you think.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh, oh,
I'm sure everybody did.
but for me, I mean, my gun doesn't recoil much.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me,
There's
it
no
looks.
reason.
J- JJ actually said to me last year when I was in his class, he was like, uh, you run your production gun like an open gun. Like that's how little the gun moves.
But that's good though. That's what you want.
Yeah. Well, that's how I learned. Like I have a lot of room to get transition with that
We need to
because
get you an open gun. Is what we need to do. It sounds like.
one day, I think, honestly speaking, I think limit is where I'll end up ultimately because you know, like I said, recoil is no big deal to me. 40 cal, major scoring. Still shooting iron sights. Open would be fun though.
Open
Mason,
is open is a lot of fun.
yeah.
Um, I've shot the other divisions, not all of them. I haven't shot like revolver and all that, but I've shot most of the other divisions. And every time I go back to open, it affirms that it's the most fun you can have with a pistol. It's just so fast, so fun, so technical, and you get punished really hard. Like that's one thing I noticed with limited 10 is like you can afford some issues, right? But in open, you can't afford shit.
Yeah, makes sense.
Like you can't afford anything. The margin for error, in my opinion, in open is far more punishing than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, I open minor 2021. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think major power factor should drop drastically to like 145, just so we're not beating the shit out of these guns, and also not dangerously close to. Not dangerously close. You're well over Sammy spec on everything in major. For the most part, it's just not. It's a stupid idea. Major
At
power
least for,
factors. Yeah, well, not even that for limited as well. For any realm, major power factor over 150 is a retarded idea in my opinion.
okay.
Um, I think 145 and up should be major, and then 124 to 145 should be minor. But
Yeah, I had 143, so I
yeah,
wasn't
there
that
you go.
far.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, I don't want to get on a soapbox. But anytime you play in any other division, you go back to open, it is so fun, especially when you're shooting open against like really good guys. The margin of error is so tight that
Yeah.
it
People like
almost makes
that.
it more fun. It's definitely, in my opinion, I don't want to say it's more competitive because that's not a fair assessment, but it's a harder version of competition, whereas you get punished more, I think.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you're
and
talking different. The the people are stacked much more tightly together. It seems. For open. Carry
yeah,
out the key. You notice a lot of people are stacked really real tight.
real tight. Same with production this year. Production was pretty tight.
Yeah. Yeah. Once you get around, so like the top 8 or 9 will be in the 90% plus range.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everybody starts to drop down after that. You
Limited
know.
10 wasn't tight at all. At all.
Well, Christian shot limited 10, so.
Yeah, well, he lucky my mags didn't work. Let me tell you.
I had a
I
good
even
time with him.
I even talked to him on the phone after that. I was like, "Man, you're so lucky my mags didn't work." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure." He was like, "I think maybe everyone below me was lucky your mags didn't work." I was like, "Yeah, you're probably right." But
It was good hanging with him. I had a chance. Him and I walked the stages a bunch, before we started shooting. It was good getting a chance to hang out with him.
he's an
He's
extremely technically sound shooter.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I liked his thought process. I liked his approaches. And stuff too. Real simple, real efficient.
Yeah,
Just a
yeah,
real nice guy. Like you get to hang out with people, and that's the thing about the shooting communities. You meet some of the nicest people around. Like at least I have. I know you've had your issues at
I've
Nashville.
only one, baby, only one.
Yeah.
everyone else I've met, I love them. They're amazing people. They're amazing people.
It's,
Uh,
it's,
some of my favorite people I've ever met are in shooting sports, and you know, I've traveled around the world and meet a lot of people, and shooting sports people are so damn nice, so damn nice. Looking
it's
Asian, my man Rob.
he's a good dude. You know, and it's everybody's looking for everybody to succeed too. That's the one thing. People are very free about sharing information for the most part. Like I don't, me personally, I don't mind sharing what I know with people. Like I like to because yeah, I believe the individual goals will come as a result of all the hard work and the training and the coaching and the support. Like doing it by myself would not be accomplishable. Like having everybody support and all that stuff and people pushing you and motivating you. I believe all that'll happen, but I think my like what I was meant to do on this earth was to be able to succeed. You know,
Yep.
and that's important. It's important to be able to help people succeed and be able to like serve others in that way. You know.
Yeah, that's it's a great mentality. It really is. You know, I'm starting to venture into training people more and more, and and I get a lot of joy out of it. Now, I will say I'm a little bit more selfish. I get more joy out of um, my own training and my own competition, but I get it's very close. Like training
Yeah.
people to me, I feel in the next probably 10 years, training people is going to be a drug. I can already feel it. It's
It
already
is.
starting to get there to where whenever somebody I'm teaching, like one of the guys that I'm teaching right now, he's a three gunner, right? I'm not a three gunner, but I can still help you with movement and efficiency and pulling the trigger, right?
Yep.
And he just had like two big time stage wins out of like a 5 stage match that like were spicy as shit, and they were with the shotgun and the rifle, not even the pistol.
Yeah.
And when it was all said and done, he was like, dude, I looked at that and immediately was like, I gave up probably 2.5, 3 seconds there in the movement that I could have picked up. And it's fun to see that whenever somebody realizes, like, hey, I won this stage, but I could have really won it if I'd have done everything you taught me.
And
Uh,
it's dude, it's very rewarding, and it's good to give people the empowerment to be able to really try to work hard and achieve something. I think a lot of people they let external factors dictate them, you know.
mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people I have no time, that's a common thing. Um,
I have
but you
no
gotta
time.
you gotta make the time. Like, dude, I mean,
People don't realize how much time they actually have.
if you really tried, like you can fit a lot of stuff in. I strength train a couple times a week. I dry fire 4 days a week. I live fire once or twice. If I don't live fire twice, I try fire 5 days a week. Um,
Yep.
train, do the matches. I incorporated the movement training. Like I do mindfulness, training during launch. I do vision training during launch. Like it's effort. Don't get me wrong, but it's effort that pays off. It's just a matter of
There's
how bad do you want it. You
how
know,
bad that's that it always comes down to that. How bad do you want to achieve what you are setting out to? I see so many people that say, I want to be a master. I want to be a GM. I want to win this match. I want to win that match. I want to beat this person. And I ask
yeah,
them, well, how much work are you putting in? And they tell me, and I'm like, oh, so you're putting in the bare minimum. You're
yeah,
putting in the bare minimum you could possibly put in to try to achieve those things. And they kind of look at me like, what? And I'm like, you're putting in the absolute bare minimum. You could be dry firing X amount of times a day. I don't have time for that. I said, really? I said, how much time do you watch TV? How much time are you on social media? How much time are you on YouTube? And they tell me, and I'm like, there's your dry fire right there. Instead of watching TV for 2 hours a day.
yeah. Level participation is a thing. Like
Yeah.
you have to put expectations on how much you train. You're
Yeah.
training 3 days a week. say, the ceiling is limited, compared to a guy who's going to train, you know, and put in probably an hour to 2 hours a day of some form of training. Like, dry fire is only one part of what I do. Like, dry fire for me is 45 minutes to an hour typically, because honestly speaking, I enjoy it.
Yep.
Like, and I'm not like crushing out reps upon reps, destroying my form. Like, don't get me wrong, I work my form hard, and I work myself hard, but I'm spending a lot of time on the
Process. It's process
complete
driven.
picture, walk through, visualize, execute, like a lot of that stuff too. Putting it
Yeah.
all together, because the requisite skills for me are there,
Mm-hmm.
right? In terms of all the gun handling skills, the transitions are coming along very well. It's programming the stuff in the walkthrough, visualizing the stuff as I programmed it, and executing the program as I said it. That's a lot for me. And then the other stuff is, like I said, movement training is I can literally walk out, throw a couple sticks down, and party, and literally practice. I don't need myself, my body to get out. Strength training is part of that also, in terms of being able to be strong enough to move aggressively, and be able to handle the deceleration loads and all that stuff that I got to deal with when you're moving around in the state. In
Yeah.
addition to being strong enough to be able to support the amount of training that I'm putting in.
Yeah.
My shoulders, my forearms, my elbows, everything has to be able to withstand the training load that I'm putting on. A lot of people go out and they start, they get real heavy into it, and they do an hour, hour and a half of heavy dry fire, and they have elbow tendonitis after like 2 weeks,
Yep.
because their body's not used to the load. So you have to intelligently plan out how you're going to build up that training load too.
It's like people who decide they want to start running and they go and run 10 miles their
Yeah,
first day, and then
not
10
gonna
miles their second day.
for that.
Yeah.
It's a build up thing, and you got to be smart about, like, supplementation and sleep and eating. Like, my goals around shooting have created a cascade of events that have turned into, hey, listen, now I want to eat better. Hey, I got to make sure I'm monitoring my sleep. I want to make sure I'm strong in the ways I need to be strong for shooting.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to dry fire. I'm going to mental. Everything is just, I gear everything around shooting. But my goals are also win nationals in a couple of years. 3 years is what I'm looking for.
It's
Or
a
at least be
solid goal.
that it's hey, listen, like, things go my way, because luck is part of that. These guys are all great shooters. I could have the best day of my life being in the position to win, and some guy has a better day, and that's just the way it goes. But at least be able to, like, hey, I get myself there enough times, and eventually things go my way and I win.
A little bit of wind behind a popper.
Yeah, well, exactly, right? Exactly. And it's just the way it goes. That's what makes it exciting.
Yeah.
It's a 3-year goal, so it's like, I'm not expecting to be this thing in 6 months.
No.
It's okay. Now I have the whole year to develop X or Y. And I talk with Ben and I talk with Wansek, about where my training needs to go at this point in time. Yes, the next goal is 90% plus at nationals. What is it going to take to get there? This year my main shooting goal is transitions, confirmation levels, and shooting appropriate transitions. Mentally, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm dialing in my program, my process, all that stuff. And then it's going to be, for me, I think, is be able to look at results and formulate a process or a program that's going to give me the biggest return with the least risk.
Yep.
Where can I push? Like, all those kind of things. Right now, I don't really focus on results at all. I focus on programming in my mind.
Yeah.
And in training, I'm gathering data on updated data as my skills progress and as I learn certain things. I have to update the data so that I can say, okay, well, this is the right thing for me to do on this target. This is the right thing for me to do on that target. And I have to do it no matter how I feel about it, right?
Yep.
Mentally, I'm a bit of a turtle. I'm more conservative. So if I let my mind govern things, I shoot slower than I should, right? My body's naturally very quick. So I'm constantly fighting that. Like, I need to feel slightly uncomfortable before I shoot, Like,
Yeah.
my mind would be like, I don't know about this. And my body goes, shut the fuck up. get in. We're going for a ride, you know? And that's
Yep.
when I usually do my best thing, you know?
Instinctual. It's got to be
Yeah.
instinctual.
It's got to be that, for me, it's that constant fight. Some people are naturally gravitated towards speed, you know? For them, it's learning how to be disciplined, where they need to be disciplined. Because they can let it rip, but that gets them in trouble if they do it too much.
Yeah. I spent a lot of time, in sports growing up, football especially, like football. If you're overthinking everything, you're too slow, right?
Yep.
It's got to be very instinctual. It's got to be reaction,
Yeah.
right? And I'm pretty good at flipping that switch and just going straight reaction. That's why like when sequences get mixed up in my shooting, it doesn't seem to bother me is because I'm very good at reacting to things. Like if an activator sequence doesn't hit like it should, it
Hmm.
doesn't fluster me. I just adapt and overcome very, very quick. Now it can reach out and bite me in the ass if I'm just reacting, and then
Too much. Yeah, too much.
yeah, too much is not good, but just that right amount is pretty good.
Having the ability to do it is important, but you don't want to rely on that often.
Yeah. I was reacting when I ran dry twice in one stage at Limited 10 Nationals. I was reacting, not thinking, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's what ends up biting you, you know. I
Yeah.
mean, it happens. Like I had one of the stages where I went to go grab a mag, and I guess my hips popped the wrong way, and I grabbed the mag all fucked up, and I went to put it in, and just dropped out of my hand. So, you know, reacting for the rest of the stage to some degree. You know,
Yeah.
no, and that's it. Just happens.
Yeah.
You know, we minimize the amount of times it happens, but it may still happen regardless. So being able
Hmm.
to handle it in the moment, you know, and do what we can to finish what we've started. You know, that's mental toughness and being able to stick with it. So
Yeah, absolutely.
another aspect that's important. The mental part of our game it's very important.
I
You
feel
know,
it's the most important.
it is. Yeah, provided you have the requisite skills. Yeah, it is. Being
Yeah.
able to do it.
If you take two people who have the same skills physically,
Hmm.
and one of them is more mentally sound, though, that one's going to win every time. 10 times
Yeah.
out of 10, I feel.
Well, I'd agree. I'd agree 100%. You know.
And that's a big difference. Like you talked about Christian, that
Hmm.
kid's mental process is unlike anything that you'll see. Like once you sit down and talk to him about his mental process and really crack him open and get to look into it, and he doesn't talk about it publicly too much, but once you actually go over this kid's mental process and his mental fortitude,
Yeah.
the kid's a savage. The kid's a freak. Like
Got it.
I bet you the shit that goes on inside his head he would never say out loud.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's what it has to be. That's what it has to be. You have to firmly, you have to believe that nothing that happens is going to affect the outcome, right? So
Right.
that's going to allow you, if you have a mistake on a stage, to go, doesn't matter, I'm still going to win, right? Just throw it out. It goes away right away. Boom, it's out of there, right? New stage, new day, whatever. But also, you have to truly believe that you are the best person pulling a trigger that day. Not only that day, but period. And that kid fully believes that he is the best trigger puller on planet Earth.
Yeah. Well, that
He is.
belief is important. You know.
And
There's
I think he believed that in like 2018 when he wasn't winning nationals. I think he believed it.
yeah. You know, belief really is. It's a big part of what keeps you motivated to go. You know. Honestly speaking, I believe I'm going to accomplish the things I'm setting out to accomplish. I
Yep.
believe that 100%. And every little thing, and so an interesting thing that I read from a book. It was called High Performance Habits. It's written by a guy named Brendan Burchard. He said, in your phone, set an alarm and write 3 or 4 words that you want to associate with yourself. Right? This is what I want people to think of me. These are what values are important to me,
Yeah.
right? So I've been doing this, you know, it's pretty much the middle of 2018 or something like that. I have an alarm goes off 9 o'clock every day, and it's got 4 words on it. It says focused, it says driven, it says consistent, and it says excellent, right? And I say the same thing every single day for the past three years. I say that I'm focused in my work, driven to succeed. That's the goal I set for myself. I'm consistent in my performance and improvement in reaching my goals. I show excellence in my service to others and performance in relation to my skill level.
That's
You know,
solid.
every single day I say that, and then I add like whatever my goal is. So like my current goal is to, I'm a super squad level shooter. You know, so that's the next goal that I'm looking for, and that's where I'm headed. And everything so far has been, and it's a daily thing. So anybody who's watching this, if you want to get something out of that, do that for yourself. You know, create values that you want associated with yourself. Set an alarm, right? It doesn't have to ring. It's a silent alarm for me, but it shows up on my phone. And give yourself something to say to yourself that's positive, that you want to define you. Say it every day.
Solid.
Eventually it'll come to be what it is that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I talked myself into I fully believe that you can talk yourself into success. As long as you're putting in the work, right? As long as you're affirming that with your actions,
Yeah.
You can fully talk yourself into success. And my goal this year at Nationals is top 16.
Okay.
And top 16 or 90%, whichever one comes first, which usually 90% is not top 16.
Yeah. In production, it's top 10, but in open,
yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm shooting for a top 8 finish, but my goal I set at the end of last year's Nationals was top 16, and that was probably a little low for myself because I just had so many issues at Nationals. But I'm feel as if a top 8 is possible in open, and which if I make top 8, I'm wearing a shirt onto the podium that says "Middle of the Road Nobody."
That'd be a nice fuck you, right? Yeah.
Because I'll probably still be a master. So top eight will probably be somewhere in the top 3 of master.
Yeah.
So I'll walk up there. Nice. I'll walk up there. But we'll see.
Well, that's what it is. It's just and figuring out what you need to make that happen.
And to make that happen, to be in the top 10. Here's the crazy part, right? This is something nobody talks about, but it should be talked about more. Is that if you can shoot 85% on every single stage, you will win Nationals.
That's what I've heard.
Like
I've heard the number's 90, but yeah.
I've done them. All right, most Nationals. I've done the math on a lot of the last couple, like 4 years, right? And if you were 85, let's say 85 to 90%, somewhere in there on every stage. If you could even shoot 80% on every stage, and you'll be in the top 10.
Yeah. No, there's definitely a lot of merit to that.
How
so many stages that,
How easy is it for you to shoot 80% on a stage?
I mean, I do it. I can do it routinely. I mean, I did it
pretty regularly.
Yeah.
It's just one thing I've been working on is the ability to do that, to stay consistent, not necessarily burn the world to the ground, right, on every stage. But to stay consistent and stay fluid and minimize mistakes, to be able to shoot very, very, very nastily consistent. Because if I can go out and I can just straight crank out some 85 to 90%ers, I'm going to be very happy with where I finish.
Yeah. And I had one miss all Nationals. And
was it on that dropout target?
No, it's actually the strong hand stage, the strong hand only. So I got a little I programmed everything. I programmed to shoot 2-2-2-2, reload, and react off of the green color for everything with the strong hand only. And I just happened on it was the second to last shot. I just happened to get a little tense, and I pushed into the black.
A little too spicy.
It wasn't even that. It was just I got too tense.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with I reacted correctly because I saw the green was in the center, and I just happened to push the gun down. I must have pushed the gun down a little hard with my shoulder. And it happens. I moved on to the next stage, and the next stage, I think, yeah,
Hashtag Virginia count.
yeah. I know. I saw it too. I'm like, oh, I can't make this one up.
Yeah, not worth it. Not worth it.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. But that was okay. Pretty much everybody was going to have a miss. There were only a handful of guys that didn't have one. So
Yeah, I was a little too cocky after day two. I had like barely any deltas, like
yeah.
not a whole lot of char, a lot of alphas. I was shooting very, very good points,
Mm-hmm.
but I was fighting with my mags. So I was day three. I was like, gotta make up some time. I'm shooting like a beast. I ain't gonna shoot no mics. I'm gonna shoot no mics up in this bitch. Drop 3 of them hoes.
Sure. Yeah.
One of them was on that. One of them was on that little dropout target.
Yep.
The one where it drops out and then goes to like not even a full head box exposure on the other side.
Yeah, that was my last stage. Yep.
Sent one right into the black. Just
Yeah.
bop bop fuck.
Yeah. And I think it got people like, people got a little caught up in that one because it came out a little differently than it might have expected. I shot 3. I mean, that stage for me, I think was all alpha, but I ran that a bit conservatively. This is the last stage of the day, like, last stage, day 3. Shoot the stuff on the right, which I shot that fine. Little soft on the steel. I probably could have done one more piece of steel in between, but at that point, I'm not making or breaking it.
Yeah.
On that.
Yeah.
So
do you remember the stage with the little drop turn that exposed twice? Where it was a box to box stage where I think you went 4 paper, went over, and then it was like steel paper drop turn.
Yep.
Did you catch it on the first exposure?
Yes. But I did it. So we decided to do it a little differently. We shot the left, and then we went into the box and we shot the close paper first. Close paper, activator, steel, paper, drop turn.
Okay, my dumbass was gonna go steel, paper. So
No,
activator, steel, paper, drop turn. Yeah. But I was planning to catch it in the first exposure.
Yeah.
Try to maximize time, and it was like ping, ping, pop, pop, pop. Shit, pop, pop.
Yeah, dude. So that was our thing. Like watching people do it. Like unless you were like balls out, which for me, at this moment I might pull off the target a little bit. You were basically catching it like just as it was open, starting to go away.
Yeah.
And it was possible. Which is
a
fine.
few people did it. It was very possible. If I would have transitioned from the second steel to the paper a little bit quicker, probably would have happened. But my hit on the first steel was dead center. My hit on the second steel was top left because I was trying to transition, and I kind of hesitated a little bit because I saw the hit up and left. Like as I was pulling the trigger, I was like, that might not be there, and then I kind of like half hitched to affirm and then went, But yeah, that was a fun. See, that type of box to box stage, is kind of cool. But some of the other ones, I'm like, eh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't typically care for box to box stages, but I mean that one wasn't too bad. But for me, like as soon as I smashed the paper, and then I went activator, steel, paper, and as soon as I'm onto the drop turner, like it's just starting to come out, like So there wasn't really any waste of time there. The waste of time would be in the transition going from paper to steel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then you're potentially saving time by starting on the close paper and not on the steel. That's a little further.
Yeah, we looked at it a bunch of different ways, but I walked it that certain way and was like, I'm just gonna stick with it. Try to execute and see what happens.
On my hand, all 3 days I had program, execute. like all my
Yep.
hands. So anytime I got a thought that was emotion based, I would just look down at my hand and be like, oh no, this is you have to do it the way that you set it up. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. The result is going to be what it's going to be. You take whatever that you learn from the result and bring it back to practice.
Yeah.
That's where I came up with the movement stuff, because that's an opportunity for me. I'd imagine I could cut half my time from nils to me in movement, especially on the field courses and position entry. I think there's a lot of time for me to gain there because just transitions and shooting, a lot of stuff, I'm doing pretty well there. So movement is where I'm going to save a lot of time, position entry shooting.
The athletic giraffe is deceivingly efficient with this movement.
Of course, of course.
Deceivingly
No,
efficient because you watch him move and you're like, but then you really start to break down. Like me and him shot nationals together last year, and I like overlaid some of his videos with mine, and I'm shooting open, he's shooting limited, minor. But even then, some of his movement stuff that he did, it was like light bulb. I was like,
yeah,
oh shit, that's where he gained X amount of time, right? And my times were generally faster for the most part when I wasn't, eating a fat bag of dicks. But um but
okay.
but his movement was so crisp and efficient, and he's so tall, and he's so like how he moves like that with being that tall.
Yeah,
It's weird.
long legs, man.
Yeah, long
I mean,
legs.
I'm not short, but they're taller than me.
And he can take shots that we just can't. Like some hard leans for him, or like a hard lean for us is like just poking his head around for him. He's like,
Yeah, no,
oh, that's
it's
easy.
not. It's an opportunity. That's an opportunity for them for sure. But we're born with what God gave us, so
Yep.
we
Yep.
gotta make that. And there's no reason why we can't. I mean, look at Rob Latham, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No
Rob
shit.
Latham, I mean, he's tall, but he's a bit short in the limbs. And
I'm kind of upset. Like Rob, if you're watching this, I'm sorry that I doubted you. I'm gonna be honest. I did. I doubted him. I was like, man, he won last year, but he's getting up there in age, and it's been a whole nother year. Like
experience,
ex-
experience, knowing how to hustle and get yourself in, and know. I mean, he knows his body well enough to know what it can and can't do, and he
I
just
would
does
love,
hesitation.
I'd love to sit down and pick that guy's brain for an afternoon.
Yeah,
Golly.
I'm sure there's a wealth of knowledge in there.
Oh yeah. Give us a bottle of bourbon in about 3 hours, and some shit would get awesome real fast. Real fast. Rob, if you're listening to this, man, let's do it. I'll send you a bottle of bourbon. Just get straight swasty pants, and we'll do an interview, and we'll get some golden gooses out of you, my friend. But yeah, that was impressive to say the least. I hope that if I'm that age, I'm still doing that, because he's putting the brakes on everyone. At how
Oh
old
yeah, I
is he now? How old is Rob?
think he's got to be in his mid 50s, if
No,
not a little.
he's older than that.
I don't know. You
Somebody
know,
who knows how old Rob is, post on here. How old's Rob Latham? I don't know. I want to say they said he was in like his 60s or 70s.
yeah, I don't. Nobody said anything yet.
Nobody said anything about it, but yeah, that's crazy. So I know you said you had till, I think, was that 1 o'clock your time?
Yeah, where we at? 12:30. Yeah, 12:40.
12:40. All right. So
I'll talk all day long, man.
yeah, I know you and me both, man. I'm the same way. So let's do um the Nationals picks. So low cap's over, right? So all we have left is high cap.
Yeah.
But hey Siri, how old is Rob? He's 60. All right. Oh, they want to see the Mount Rushmore shooting first. Okay, let's do that. Who's on your Mount Rushmore shooting?
So what does that mean?
So the four Godfather, just best to ever do it shooters. Just who's your four, like, either best shooters, most influential shooters, blah blah blah. Just your top four shooters in your opinion. It's your Mount Rushmore.
So I can go more influential.
Just
So
whatever four the best in your opinion.
So Ben would be one of them. I mean, Ben in terms of a influencer and as a shooter, he's definitely one of them.
Stager,
Um,
yeah, Stager's won. I don't even know how many national titles at this point. A
well,
lot.
yeah, and him and I mean, I've been a gold member on PSCG for this will be the third year. So, I talk with him, you know, a decent amount. I taught at the summit, so anybody on PSCG will see my block videos, gun handling that I did. But he's been a great mentor and help for me. Um, I
I'd
mean, as
agree with
far
that
as
one.
shooting. I mean, Eric Raffel's probably one of the best around. What I've watched of him and what I've seen of him, it's almost untouchable in that regard. You know,
I'm hoping
uh,
by the time I make it to a world shoot, he's not too old to shoot against.
yeah, yeah. I don't think so.
I think he'll be doing it well into his like 50s and 60s.
Yeah, for sure. Like as a coach and a mentor, also like Wansik. Wansik's been big for me. So
Yeah,
him and Ben together put a lot of time and effort into making me a better shooter, and helping me grow. Wansik and I are very very technical, engineer oriented people, so we think very similarly. We look into details that in a lot of ways that people may not see in the same way. We go like super like molecular granular like into the wood into the woods almost sometimes. Got to be careful not to do that, but um,
yeah.
him and I have been very close in that regard. He's been a big influence. And then, well, I mean, there's three more people that I can really think of, to be quite honest.
Give all three to us. Come on.
More than four. So, like,
We'll break the rules.
we'll break the rules. So
I
in
make the
initial,
rules. Fuck the rules.
initially, Bob Vogel was a big part of getting me realizing that it's possible. It's possible to do it. I went to his place in July of 2018, got a chance to really learn from him, and I was able to take away a lot at this place, especially from a mental perspective. And hey, listen, this goal is possible. Like what I want to do is possible. Um, JJ last year was a big help. Just showing me some different perspectives on mainly transitions, right? Really getting me on board with that, like really starting to pay attention to that and focusing on different things. And then like Christian is the shooter, and as I'm sure Christian and I will be talking. Fuck the rules, middle of the road, nobody's. Uh,
Oh, I love it.
Christian, I'm sure Christian and I we're actually meeting up in July at some point. I'm gonna go fly over to them, meet him in Wansik. We're gonna go train together.
Yeah.
Uh, but getting a chance to talk to him and getting a chance to really pick his brain and hang out with him, like all like great dude, great shooter. As far as shooting, he's one of the best around. There's no question about that. But just a nice guy to be able. Like I asked him a question, he was happy to talk. Him and I like walking through and stage planning together it was fun. Like we had a good time.
Yeah.
And he's very humble, very down to earth, very easy to approach and talk.
Yeah.
So it's six, but yeah, they've all played an important part in my development, in my life, and sport, and all that stuff.
Like I
So
said, fuck the rules. I make the rules.
yeah. Well, and then you gotta thank everybody else because everybody else supporting what you're doing keeps you pushing to go forward, right? So everybody that sent me messages, asked me questions, um, I'm always happy to talk about that stuff. But it's important. You guys are just as important as all these guys that I put on my Mount Rushmore, or whatever.
Yeah, dude, I love that. I love I get a lot of questions. I get a lot of love. And that shit pushes me really hard. Like actually, like I keep a lot of them just whenever I don't feel like doing something, I kind of go back and look at like somebody's message where they're like, "Dude, you're inspiring." Blah blah blah. Like now I dry fire X amount of time, and now I'm getting back in the gym, and like I look at that and I'm like, God, I'm gonna feel like a real pussy if I don't do this now. So
No, it
it's
holds you accountable, 100%.
yeah, it's awesome. It's motivating. It's motivating. You got to have those people in your life. You got to find those triggers to just kick it into gear. So we got your Super Mount Rushmore. So now let's go into nationals. So we all we have left is high cap. So We got PCC, we got limited, we got carry optics, we have open. So let's start. We'll do it in that order. Let's do PCC. Who do you think is going to win PCC?
So I think if Max is shooting PCC, I think Max is good.
Yeah,
I think that's just a given. I think he's much faster than everybody else at this point, especially when it comes to the shooting stuff.
I'm going to go with Max Leograndis until Max Leograndis decides to lose.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that one for sure. All right, so let's get into the next division that's been hogged since its beginning, carry optics.
So carry optics, I think like if Max shoots, Max has a good chance. I know Mason is trying to breathe down his back too. So I think Mason, if he gets control of some of his discipline and like his mental aspect, I think he could really put a good run in for it.
Mason's a beast, man. Mason's a
Yeah,
beast.
he's
And
good.
and you got Mason, you got Juancic, you got Luke Cal. There's some really you got Tyler Northcutt. There's some really talented carry optic shooters.
Vonsic also has a good chance too, and I think it depends on how Nationals stacks up. Also, I think Vonsic is very technical. So the more technical the shooting, the better chance he has of winning.
I think JJ is shooting carry optics too now, right? He hinted a carry optics gun in his story. Nobody
Yeah,
really caught that, but I did.
but I don't think he has enough time. I don't think he'll have enough time to prepare in
You
comparison.
don't think?
I don't think so
I
compared to
don't. He's going to focus on open.
right, which is what if it's high cap, are they all together? I don't know what. Well,
Yeah,
PPC carry optics are together, yeah.
yeah. I think it's carry optics and PCC, and then limited and open.
I think what'll catch JJ is well, he's going to focus on open, but carry optics is going to be not neglected, but it's just not his main focus. Where other people are going to make it their main focus, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I
And
think
that
so too.
he'll still do well. Don't get me wrong, he'll still do well, but I don't know that he'll win. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I go back, but then I go back to 2018 when he won limited open and got second in carry opt or got second in production in 9 days, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
JJ just has the habit of picking up a gun and being great with it,
And his movement ability being a significant strength of his plays into that a lot.
and he's very accurate.
Right.
He's
So
very accurate.
where he gets bit in production is that he's not as accurate as a guy like that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Ben's fast enough. JJ is faster, but Ben is fast enough and significantly more accurate
Yeah,
because that's what Ben has spent his life doing.
yeah,
Is
exactly.
where JJ spent most of his time in a major scoring division where you can take an Alfred Charlie and be faster. You know, so that's what kind of gets him at that moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Might
yeah,
get him in carry optics also. If shooting his carry optic gun like an open gun, he might be faster, but he might take point loss. You know what I mean?
yeah. Because you got to remember, man, Max is ridiculously accurate.
Yeah, and it depends. Again, if it's technical, if it's technical, Honsick has a very good shot because Honsick is very accurate as well. Max is very good at like confirmation two shooting, as I call it. Like basically, the gun doesn't stop moving, but
Yeah,
that bites you a little bit more of a technical accuracy. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I would agree there. I would agree with that statement. Yeah, I think I'm gonna. Who are you gonna go with?
I mean, I'll go with Max unless at this
Yeah,
moment.
I'm gonna go with
Yeah,
Max too. I have a hard time envisioning Max losing. All
yeah.
right, now let's get to a division that is way more open, limited. Who do you think is gonna win limited?
So I honestly think JJ has a good chance of winning limited if JJ shoots limited. I don't know. Are they together?
I think limited and open are together, so I think he's gonna shoot open, unless he just says fuck it. But I think it's a world shoot year. I think he's gonna shoot open.
Mason won limited last year.
He did. He did not shoot on the super squad though, which could change some things.
It could change some things, but I know he's working mentally to
He
get there.
is.
You know, Who else would be a good contender in limited? Like I don't know too many limited guys. Like I don't not that I could think of them off the top of my head.
So you got John Browning, Shane Coley, Gianni Giordano, Nils Jonasson, Mason Lane, Travis Tomasi, Phil Strader.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of heat.
Gianni's pretty good too,
He
but
was,
I think Gianni's a little young at this moment.
yeah. And now
I think
ask me in 3 years.
yeah, yeah. No, I'd agree with that for sure. You
Yeah,
know, I think Mason. Well, Mason, because of his proclivity to speed, he has a good chance as long as he's working on himself mentally.
yeah.
Like, he has a good chance of winning again.
You got Cody Axon, Mike Stoker. You got those
Yeah,
guys. Cody's in the super squad, and Cody
Cody's
adapts very well. Cody adapts to the speed he needs very well. I feel if he's shooting with faster guys who are more talented, I feel that he adapts better to that. If he's shooting with guys who aren't on his level, he goes into his like 90%, 95% mode. But when he shoots with really guys who are going to push him, he does real well at matching that pace.
yeah, and I don't study a lot of guys too much either. So your opinion would probably be better than mine. I focus a lot of my time on my own training and development.
I do too. I study a lot of guys. This is gonna sound, but I'm a student of the game. Like I watch a lot of people. I watch everyone's videos. I've studied a shit ton of your tape, just looking at what they do and how they do it, and finding a way to find the really really good in it and move it into my technique a
Yeah.
little bit, right?
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like my style's always changing, always it's ever changing, ever adapting, right? And it should be. Yeah,
Right.
I check out all the dudes is what I'm trying to say. Is yeah, as many things put it. I check out all the dudes. But with that I get to analyze a lot of people and see a lot of people's strengths and weaknesses and stuff like that. There's a notepad that has shooter profiles on it.
That's
Um,
cool.
yeah, of what guys are, in my opinion, really really good at and not so good at, and what they do really really well, and
Mhm.
how they do it and how to adapt it into my training.
Yeah.
Um,
And that
but
that is important. It's important to be able to take a lot of people's
yeah,
be able to take different styles and blend it into your own. Like
yeah.
my grip is a combination of probably four different methodologies.
Mhm. And
So
I think that thought process comes a lot from a football background because you're
yeah,
studying tape so much and you're constantly figuring people out.
yep.
Um, but but I think it's definitely worth it to do. But anyway, your limited pick. Just give us the juice. What do you think?
I mean, I think Mason can do it again. I do.
Are you shooting limited?
Mm-mm.
No,
No,
you're
I
not.
don't. I don't until I win or until I achieve whatever goals that I'm set out to achieve. I'm going to stay with production.
Ooh, no high cap at all, huh?
Not yet.
Oof.
I think when the time comes, it'll be limited that I go into.
Come on, man. I got an open gun for you. What's up?
Yeah, that too. I should try that one time.
You
Probably
should. No, actually, don't. Don't do it.
because then
Don't
I'll
do it.
waste money.
Oh, it's so addicting. It's so
They
addicting.
they said I'm not allowed to shoot open ever.
It's like it's like driving a really really nice car, like a Porsche 911, and then getting in a McLaren. It would be like limited, and then getting in a Formula One car would be open. You're gonna
Yeah,
want to stay in that Formula One car. Ooh,
I know. It'll happen, and I guess that's part of the reason for being disciplined right now.
yeah, for sure. So you think Mason Lane's gonna two-peat?
I think you can do it. I think you can do it.
It's highly likely.
Yeah.
Mason seems to only be getting better.
Well,
He's
and as he sorts himself out, as he sorts his mental makeup out, like and really gets the optimal kind of mental profile for himself, I think he's only going to get more solid.
Yeah, yeah, I think you're right. I'm gonna go with. I got two picks here.
Okay.
Okay, my heart wants Cody to win it
Okay.
because he's the homie, right?
Cody seems like a
Um,
great dude too. Like in the little interaction I've had.
he is. I really, really, really want Cody to get it, but my brain tells me Nils, if he shows up with a major gun, is gonna torch
Okay.
everyone by 3 to 4%.
Okay. I guess we'll find out.
Because he shot limited minor last year
Oh, we
and
did.
got fourth. And if you changed him to major, he was like 3.5% ahead of everybody. And you know as well as I do, shooting major allows you to have a lot more leeway in your movement.
Sure. Yeah. No, it does. It does because Alpha Charlie on every target pretty much is 90% of the point. Like,
Exactly.
you know,
So I have a strong suspicion that if somehow Canik comes out with a 40 caliber gun,
which they might have to now.
which I believe they have,
Okay.
maybe not production, but maybe for him, uh, I think he's going to torch everyone. I think it's going to be bad. I think it's
All
going to be a mighty fine ass whooping.
right.
I'm hoping not. I'm hoping that Cody wins, and if not Cody, you know, some of the other guy. But Nils is also a good friend. I don't know. I'm friends with all these guys. It's hard to pick, but the honest pick would be if Nils shows up major power factor, he wins.
hmm Okay. I guess we'll see.
Yeah, and then what about Open?
I mean, open, I'd still say Christian. You know,
Yeah,
I think, listen, he's still young. He's still, he's still maturing and getting better. At what he does. We're finding the process more. And it's already, well, like you said, he believes he's the best shooter on earth. You know what I mean? And there's a clear, you can see when you talk to him that he believes that.
oh,
And it's not,
100%.
it's not
There's no
arrogant.
doubt.
He's not being a dick about it. It is literally, you could see that's how he approaches himself. You know what I mean? Like that's just the kind of person he is,
Yep,
you know? And,
100%.
I think, he shoots tons of points, like even shooting open, and he's just very quick, you
Yeah.
know? Him and JJ are probably very close in terms of time,
Mm-hmm.
and he shoots 95, 96% of the points. Like that's hard to do.
Very, very accurate, and he's very efficient. He's very fast.
Right. He's not doing anything outside of his comfort zone either. He's just super, super comfortable with what he's doing all the time.
Yeah, yeah, um, yeah. I don't know, man. If I'm gonna say Christian has a really good shot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, I'm gonna two picks. My heart says JJ.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my mind says Christian. Now, um, I believe fully that I can beat both of them on the right
Mm-hmm.
day, right? If I do everything that I need to, if I shoot
Sure.
like I can, I believe I can beat them. Um, but I will say if Eric Raffel shows up,
Well, that's a different story.
because
You know?
he's done that in the past. In World Shoot years, he typically hops across the pond and gives everybody the business, whips out his big old French dick and says, "I'm still your daddy." But
Well, I think Eric. I mean, if Eric shows up, Eric pretty much wins. Like I
yeah,
think
yeah,
as a result, like watching him and studying him a bit, like the way that he approaches matches is an entirely different.
yeah.
I think shooting wise, I think Christian is very good, and I think they're
Mm-hmm.
very close, like in that regard. But I think Eric's strategy is much more in depth. You
There's
know what I mean?
something to be said about experience,
Yeah, of course. And he's
and
young, old enough. Yes, he's still young enough that he's still able to physically do what he needs to do, but he's got a lot of experience in terms of the mindset and the strategy part of it.
Not only that, man, when you've won at the level he has, as long as he has, as much as he has, you talk about mental fortitude.
Right.
That guy has got to be one of the most mentally tough motherfuckers on planet Earth in the shooting world. Because, like, who's beat him?
Yeah.
Who's beat him? Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I think from what I understand, like if he shows up, he wins. Whatever
yeah,
division he shows up in, he wins like that.
yeah. If Eric Gaffel decides to shoot a division, you should probably just bet on second place.
Yeah.
But until 20, I guess, whenever the world shoot after this one, when Daddy gets there, then watch out, Eric, coming for you, man. You little French son bitch.
Like his strategy side of it is just like Mike was just saying, it is so refined,
So
you
refined,
know.
it's ridiculous.
And when you can and that's something that I'm going to learn in the next, I'd say probably year or so, is when you get to look at the results and then pick a process based on the results, and what you want to get, like, and you could do that successfully 9 times out of 10. It is very, very difficult.
Yeah, it really
You know,
is.
it just requires a lot of mental training too. So it's not something that's, it's something that you acquire over time,
Yep.
by various aspects, being able to work with the pressure that brings. Taking the results and not looking at them as results is challenging for people. It's challenging for me too.
Yeah, for sure. But man, I know you got to go, so
Yeah.
we'll go ahead and wrap this up, man.
Awesome.
But dude, thank you for coming on. It was a freaking blast. I had
I
a
appreciate it.
blast.
I appreciate it. And anytime you want to do it again, just give me a heads up. Anybody ever want to reach out and ask questions, feel free. Always
Yeah,
happy to.
so shout out your social media and all your sponsors real quick, so people know where to find you and who helps you.
Oh yeah, no, social media is just at Rob Epifania. That's pretty simple. My sponsor is NB Reloading. So Brian, he makes my bullets, and he's one of the only people that really took the time out to call me. Like, hey, listen, your order is going to be made this time, and then he calls me before it ships out. Really, really nice dude, and it's super helpful. If you guys want, you could go to nbreloading.com, and he'll give you a discount on your first order too. He's an awesome dude. And then Shooters Global, they sponsored me this year. They actually took care of Nationals, gave me one of those timers somewhere. I got it here. You ever get this? So JJ has this also, right? So this is the new Shooters Global timer. It's got a lot of features on it. Wireless charging too, and it has an app that you can design stages, and you can actually overlay times on your videos too, which is kind of cool. So if you have questions about that, I also have a code that gets you like free premium for 3 months or something like that. So
I got one of those for free at Nationals. I got to order it still.
yeah, dude, it's a very good timer. And then what's nice is any issues, like there are little things that I don't particularly care about. Being honest, um, those things can be fixed via a software,
Nice.
which is something simple. It's very small stuff. It's stuff that they can, you know. That's it, man.
Hell yeah, brother.
And I appreciate all you guys for hanging out, and everybody that takes the time out to watch my stuff, follow me, and give me message, support, encouragement. It means a lot.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, I know I'm thankful for you, brother. Thank you for coming on here. It was fun. We definitely have to do it again.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and this one was fun to me. It was really, really methodical and thought out as far as like what was said. And I think people, if they pay attention, are going to get a lot from this.
I hope so. I hope so. And if not, like ask any questions, and then maybe next time, maybe we actually bring the guns out and do some dry fire or something like that.
Dude, let's do it. Couple weeks. Let's do a dry fire live. You down?
Good to me, man.
I'm
Happy
down,
to make
brother.
it. All right, brother.
Awesome, brother.
Great talking to you. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, I appreciate you, man. You have a good day.
Later, guys.
Later, brother. Thank you to Rob for coming on. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for hanging out. If the wind was a little weird, I'm currently on the ranch, so I'm outside. Get better Wi-Fi outside and inside for some reason. But anyway, thank you guys for hanging out this long. I'll post this up tonight, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you again, and I'll see you on the range.